Hi, everyone. Thank you all so much for coming out here tonight, and welcome to the 2018 State of the District Address. My name is Helen Radovich. I am a senior at Armstrong High School, and I will be serving as the MC for tonight's event. At this time, I'd like to invite John Vento, if you're here, our school board chair, and Peter Eckhoff, president of the Robbinsdale Federation of Teachers, up to the podium to say a few words. Thank you.
Thank you, Helen. Thank you, everyone, for coming tonight. My name is John Vento, and I'm the current chair of the Robbinsdale Area School Board. One of the great things about our district have been the educational opportunities that this district has afforded my 8th and 10th grade daughters. I really want to make sure, as everyone in this room does, that every one of our students has the same educational opportunities and educational experiences that my wife and I have enjoyed due to the hard work of all of our staff members in this district. I know we have challenges as we move forward. I'm a child, and I got to paraphrase this, of the original Minnesota Miracle, not the football-related miracle, but the one back in the 70s. And I think our state and district need to ensure we are on the same, offer those same educational opportunities to each and every one of our children. I have worked very hard on the Reimagine Minnesota initiative, as have many staff members of our district, and I feel our district is in a unique position of leadership in this movement. Over the past year and a half, we have helped guide other metro districts on a journey of trying to reimagine how our state ensures equity and excellence for all of our students. Our guiding principles in this work has been our unified district vision, which we are currently revising, and we've made such a tremendous effort, not only through Reimagine, but also as a district ourselves, to reach out to all of our communities to get that feedback about how we can make improvements in our educational system. This work is about how we can create a better educational opportunity for all children. One of the challenges, though, that we still face to this day is resources. I have been advocating for years, even before my time on the school board, about bringing back a Minnesota Miracle. Fully funding education at the state level so that we can provide all the proper opportunities from all of our students, whether that child is in our system with an IEP to our GT students. Today we are in the position of needing additional resources to make sure we can implement not only the Reimagine, but even create more dynamic 21st century learning environments for all of our students. Securing these resources will ensure our students are competitive not only in the state and nation, but in the world. We are asking for your support to go out to our community and talk about the great work that is occurring in our classrooms and our schools. With your support, we will make sure our district has the proper resources to meet the goals of our unified district vision for every one of our students and every student in the state of Minnesota. With that, thank you, and I'd like to introduce Peter Eckhoff, head of our teachers.
Thank you, John. Thank you. I'm Peter Eckhoff. I'm the president of the Robbinsdale Federation of Teachers, and I'm proud to be here tonight on behalf of representing all of our teachers here in the Robbinsdale School District. We have just over 1,000 teachers in this school district, and that make up a little bit more than half of all the district employees. The mission, when I think about the 3 branches of the Robbinsdale area schools in the leadership role, I think of the strategic partnership that we have working with our board members, our district administration, and our union leadership. And we work hard to find ways to strengthen and empower the work that our teachers do each and every day and support them in their ability to be effective in working with our students. Studies have found that the most transformative experiences in a person's life come from a productive, caring, interacting, and trusting adult. Our teachers do that for our students each and every day, and part of our role is to constantly look for new ways to keep supporting the work that they do in that regard with all of our children each day. These relationships, they require our mentors, our coaches, our instructors, and others to push our students to fulfill all of their own unique potential. Our teachers show great grit and determination, and they never give up on helping our students achieve their goals. Educators unquestionably care most about the success of our students, which can only happen when we collaboratively build strong and supportive educational systems. In this effort, we can all play a part. In addition to recognizing the leadership of our fearless leader, Dr. Carlton Jenkins, I'd like to take a moment to express my appreciation for our incredibly dedicated school board. We are incredibly fortunate here in Robbinsdale area schools to have strong vocal advocates for high-quality public education for every student in our district. And many of our peer districts do not share that kind of rigor and vigor in the candidates that support their school district's board work each and every day. I also want to thank our district's dedicated staff who come to work each day, being everyday heroes in the lives of our students and our families. In addition, I want to thank our families who entrust with us their precious cargo of their children each and every day. We continue to work hard to continue to earn that trust. And finally, I'd like to thank the 7 communities that comprise the Robbinsdale area schools for supporting us in all our endeavors as we work to provide high quality educational experiences for each and every one of our students. Thank you.
Thank you both so much for those remarks. Part of tonight's event is to highlight some of the amazing arts programs that we have in our district. So please help me in welcoming to the stage the Cooper Chamber Strings, who will be followed by the Armstrong High School Step Team. Okay, that was amazing. I can't do that. So, at this time, we would like to welcome Dr. Carlton D Jenkins. Now, he really is an amazing person. He has been at the Robbinsdale area schools since August of 2015 as the superintendent. Jenkins spent 4 years as the superintendent of the Saginaw Public Schools. He was previously a high school principal in the Beloit public school system in Wisconsin. Prior to this, Jenkins served as a middle school principal, an associate principal at a high school, a physical education teacher, and a coach. Jenkins earned his Master of Science in Educational Administration and PhD from the University of Wisconsin-Madison. I really hope that was all right. Everybody, please welcome Dr. Jenkins.
Well, first of all, just thank you for coming to the 2018 State of the District Address. We are so pleased that our community is interested in what's going on in our school district, and we really do appreciate all of you coming out. I would like to thank, first of all, you got a glimpse of the Helen Radovich that I've come to know tonight. Is she not amazing? Give her a hand there. Likewise, I hope that you had a glimpse of some of our amazing students tonight. Did they not perform well? Nice job. And I joined Helen in saying that I, too, could not perform on neither one of those levels, okay? Our students were quite amazing. Also, I really hope that you enjoyed the comments of our board chair tonight. Newly elected as chair, Mr. John Vento, spoke to you in terms of where we are representing our entire board tonight. So, Mr. Vento, nice words tonight. And likewise, in concert with where we are, because we do things in Robbinsdale, the Robbinsdale way. You heard from our Federation of Teachers Union, amazing comments, and it's rare that you can find where you have your administration and your union working for the same end goal, and both are willing to make some sacrifices. So, Mr. Akoff, I thank you for your beautiful words here tonight. And at this time, I would also like to thank some of the people who really helped our district in continuing to move forward effectively and efficiently. And these are individuals that you don't see, really, most of the time. And I would be remiss if I didn't even start off by saying thank you to my wife, who frequent events with me, and tonight she may be here. She's going through a conversion on a job, and so she may get here, she may not get here. They're working a little extra. But I want to thank her publicly because she's so patient, and I'm gone so much that comes along with the territory, but she's very patient in doing so. Although I must admit, last couple times I had to break a couple of events, she looked at me a little funny. But we're going to work through that, okay? And then you heard, really, Mr. Akoff, just take the words right out of my mouth when he talked about our board. You're talking about a committed group, an excellent group, not by my standards and Mr. Akoff's standards, but the state of Minnesota just recognized our board for being an outstanding board, about taking their job, their responsibility very seriously, as they have all gone through extensive training. One of our board members also got recognized this year as one of 7 board members in terms of distinguished board members of the year as well, Ms. Helen Bass, and I also want to make sure I say that, okay? And they don't want me to, but I'm just going to ask our board members, please stand. For those who haven't seen them yet, I want you to see the faces of our board members. Could your board members please stand? And they are an amazing group. We spent a lot of time together. They spent a lot of time outside of the board meetings. They really and truly just don't do 2 nights a month. They're working continuously to make sure that we have the resources, and that they're advocating at the Capitol, that they're doing everything, coming to the events, and that they're here for our children, for our community, to really, they take their role seriously. And then also would like to say to people behind the scene, our cabinet. My cabinet, they're here as well. Could you guys please stand really quick? People never get a chance to see some of them, but they are the ones. They're the grease behind the wheels that makes it turn. They really are. And our administrators in the buildings, it's just really sometimes a thankless job being a principal, but our principals work. They really do, and they try to make things happen for our children, and we have a caring group of individuals, and I'm so proud of them. Our administrators, could you wave your hands if you're in the room here so people can see? Okay. And we know in Robbinsdale, we actually boast on the quality of teachers we have. I've been around the country, I've consulted throughout the country. So when I walk in a classroom and I'm looking for effectiveness and I look for quality teachers, I was just amazed just walking throughout the district and just looking at the quality that we have in our district. And we want to get better. We are going to get better, but we have more than our share. So I would like to say thank you to our teachers at this point as well, and those educational assistants, classroom and non-classroom educational assistants who work with our teachers. So teachers, if you're here, raise your hand, and if you're not, we want to let you know we do appreciate you as well, okay? But I would be remiss if I didn't say that all of our staff make up our school districts. When you start talking about the bus drivers, the cooks, okay, no building can run without our administrative assistants working in that building. And every time you get a new administrator, they're trained, not by the U of M, but by that administrative assistant. Trust me on that. They're the ones who have the longest tenure most of the time in the buildings, and they're the ones that's raising us up as administrators. That's the truth. So give them a big hand as well. And don't repeat that statement also. No one needs to know our secrets. But I also just tell you that all the volunteers that we have in our district with our program that we have, our partnership with volunteers, and I want to say thank you publicly for all that you do for us. We have volunteers throughout our district. We could not move the way we move if we did not have all of our volunteers. Likewise, we know that our parents, we have a great group of parents in our district that helps our districts move, okay? So thank you to the volunteers and to the parents as well. Then Robbinsdale, Cooper, Armstrong, I tell you, it's just really amazing to see the alumni support that we get in our district. We couldn't do it without our alumni continuing to pour back into our community. Today, I was at a basketball game, and individuals graduated way back from Cooper, and they still had their Hawk pride, inside. And they cornered me there for a minute. I was like, I'm trying to get back to the game. I love you, but gotta go. And but that was a lot of pride from that individual. But just our alumni, thank you too for all that you do. I would be remiss if I didn't say the support that we get each year from our Seven Dreams Foundation, who has set out to be just a mark of excellence in our community by how people come together and they're giving. They're giving, and they give again, and they give again. Thank you so much to the Seven Dream Foundation for what you do for us specifically. Each month, along with the board, we call out the amount of donations that we get in our community. I just want to let you know, those donations makes a difference in our district. Truly do. Some children will not have the opportunities they have unless we continue to get the support from you. So I want to say thank you for all that you do in terms of the community members, okay? And then lastly, I want to thank my little student assistant superintendent, really a superintendent in training, and I know that I'm going to be working for him someday. And that's the gentleman sitting in the front. That's Mr. Ellis. Ellis, could you stand up and wave at the group here real quick? All right. And the reason that I know I'm going to work for him, I went over to Fair School Crystal one day, and I was trying to talk to the principal, but this young man disaggregated the data of their school and its students' groups, as well as any adult could do. And he also gave me his recommendations, what we need to do to improve the achievement for all students. So I said, Mr. Ross, this was a setup. So Ellis, thank you for coming. I invited him tonight, and he showed up. So thank you so much for coming, son. The staff at Robbinsdale Area Schools, we are so proud of our district's history and we are determined to make our mark in the present and in the future. We're going to build on what has been started here in Robbinsdale. Approximately 60 years ago, Robbinsdale Area School consolidated a lot of small area districts to become this Robbinsdale Area School. Yes, our first school was built, and that was Parker School, about 130 years ago. And we're so proud of Parker School and what all has come out of Parker and led to the great things. And in 1938, we had our first graduating class here in Robbinsdale. 1938, we're talking about 80 years ago. We can't lose sight of that. Sometimes we're so busy focusing in the future and in the present, we forget our foundation, what we were built upon. This district is the product of stalwart educational visionary such as E.J. Cooper. Yes, Mr. Cooper and others, they sat down and they had a vision. And some of you may not know our history, but Parker School and the Parker train station and all of that came together, and that's why we're here today. So we honor their contributions by working to bring the district to new heights of performance, expression, and human decency. And human decency. They started off with that vision that this place could be something special. And we still believe that. This is in alignment with what Abraham Lincoln meant when he said to form a more perfect union during his inaugural speech. Then again, he followed up with that from 1861 to 1863. And Mr. Lincoln, someone who I really admired, in November 1963, he emphasized, well, all people are created equal. When I thought of this, where all people are created equal, some 150 plus years ago, and I think about today. I don't think anyone can argue with the fact that Mr. Lincoln was a visionary extraordinaire. And he knew the value of saying that we're going to have a perfect union and where all people are created equal. And we're wrestling with that today. Nevertheless, the words of Mr. Lincoln have inspired myself, and I believe, without even knowing it, they're inspiring those good people who want to see us have a better place, not just in Robbinsdale, not just in the state, Minnesota, in the country and in the world. He inspired a group of students to step out and have their voices heard just recently this week to say enough is enough. And they didn't just talk about one child. They had 17 children that they listed. Children from all over the country and throughout the world said, enough is enough. Children. And I say to us, is it enough for us? Is it enough to us to just be where we are today? Well, I think Robbinsdale Area School has reached an important juncture in its history. We've done good. As some would say, we've done well. But we're at an important point of our history. We face unprecedented opportunities. I often say the bigger the challenge, the bigger the opportunity. Well, Robbinsdale, we have a great opportunity. Yes, today's State of the District address will update you on where we are, where we're going, and some of the strategies for moving the district forward as a good district working to become a high-performing, diverse, great district. Not competing locally, not just competing in the state, nationally and internationally. We want to draw on the comparisons of what's going on in Finland. When you see in Finland, they created policies to totally disrupt the predictabilities based upon one's economic level, one's last name. See, they went back and they did what we're supposed to be doing in America. They took the words of our Mr. Lincoln very seriously. They say for all. So Finland has the #1 ranking in the world between economic levels in terms of educational attainment. If a child wants to go to college, they go to college. They want to become an electrician, they become an electrician. They want to be a welder, they become a welder. And that's what we're hoping for now in Robbinsdale, that we continue on our journey and become what we know that we can become. The success of our students depends on our parents, staff members, and community. Every adult can and will make a difference as we embrace what is before us now. This is huge. I'm not going to tell you that it's going to be easy, because it's not. But it's the DNA of this community. From the first railroad station, from the first schoolhouse, from 60 years ago when we came together and we said, enough of this. The farmers got into a little argument and they got tired of arguing and they said, we got to become better than this. We have to consolidate. And that's how we became the Robbinsdale Area Schools District. Now our challenge is before us. Last year, I discussed positive organizational change as a biological process, similar to the physical and emotional changes needed for caterpillars to become butterflies. And this is amazing because we're talking about the physical and emotional changes. It's not just with people, it's with animals, anything. There's a biological transformational process. I discussed that last year. And I said 5 years, the biological transformational process. Year 1, it's chaos anytime you have change. You change a baby diaper that's wet, and the baby starts to scream. Anytime there's change, your children go to kindergarten, right? You have a change. They go to 6th grade, 9th grade. They graduate to go to college. That's natural. That's equivalent to what I'm saying, the social, emotional piece, and this is where we are right now. So in year 1 of change, the trust is low. Let me just tell you that right off the bat. And according to Collins English Dictionary, this is a state of disorder and confusion. 2015-16, a lot was going on. We had a lot of changes going on. Superintendent going out, superintendent coming in, people going out. That's year 1 of the biological transformational change. Year 2, 2016-17, that was last year. We moved into organized chaos, which Collins defines as a complex situation or process, appearing chaotic while having enough order to achieve progress of meeting some goals. In year 2, you begin to build trust, and we did that. But yet, there's still a little skepticism. In year 3, this year, 17-18, you begin to implement your plan. You begin to implement your plan. And when you're implementing your plans, you're prioritizing the plans. It's just like that caterpillar, right? Go into the cocoon, and no one sees what's happening in the cocoon. But there's a lot of hitting and punching and trying to decide on what do I really want to do with my life? What am I going to become? And when that cocoon opens up, what do you have? A butterfly. And the first thing that butterfly, who's been a caterpillar, does is flap the wings, right? Because all his life he's been imagining, what if I could fly? And now he's flying. Well, that's like Robbinsdale. See, we've always wondered, what if we could be that first ring suburb district that everyone follows? Well, I'm telling you today, I'm sharing with you, stop thinking what if and get busy doing it. To get busy doing it is going to take us into year 4 of the biological transformational process, which is organized abandonment. Listen carefully. because we're in year 3, we're planning for year 4. In 2018-19, we will move into years 4 organized abandonment of policies, practices, plans, and initiatives which deliver low returns on our investments. Policies, practices, and initiatives. Some things have worked well, very well. But some things we're going through an evaluative process now. Baker Tilly, an auditor, came in here and said, these things are not working well in Robbinsdale area schools. And they said to us, if you continue on this path, it's going to be somewhat troublesome. So we have to rethink the way we're going to do business. And that's where we are right now. So when we look at those policies and practices and initiatives, we have to just abandon some of those who are giving us low return. And we have to become very clear about the vision and the resources needed to actually become this destination district, this destination community. The schools can't make it without the communities, and the communities cannot make it without the schools. There's a direct correlation to the quality of life in this community and the school system. And guess what? We're not moving anywhere. So we have to work together to make it happen. In year 5 of the biological transformational process, this is where you begin to see systemic change occurring and successes. Last couple of years, our graduation rate has gone up. Not at the pace we wanted to, but it's gone up. It was stagnant for 12 years. And so the last 2 years, it's gone up. And we're pushing hard. And out of the mouth of both of the high school principals, I know Mr. Dahl told me our graduation rate will go up. He's sitting right there. You can ask him. Okay? Mr. Herman, he's probably back now from the basketball game. He told me it's going up. I'm trusting him. I'm hoping next year during the speech I'll be able to say it went up for a 3rd year in a row. They'll work hard. Give both of them a big hand. They're working. But more important than just graduation rates, because we're about all children, the whole child, you're going to see student voices are part of our fabric in all of our actions. You're going to see us having the thought process where social-emotional well-being of every child is important. You're going to see us just drilling down into customer service over the next customer years and saying, no, it's not the first answer. No, it's not the first answer in Robbinsdale area school. When we come together, we can say, interesting thought. Let's look at it. Seeking ways to make sure that our children are socially, emotionally healthy, and then that we're meeting the needs of all of our students academically. That's where we're moving in Robbinsdale area school. Of course, it is tempting for some, because I know how it is when we want to just move ahead. It's tempting to skip one of these stages in the biological transformation process. However, I encourage you to be patient. Positive transformation will not occur without some growing pains. And for those who regularly work out, and those who have not worked out and you want to get back in the gym, the biological transformation process, you have to build up to it. And that's what we're doing. So I'm asking you not to skip and increase your weight that you're lifting or increase the miles that you're running without going through the process. Everything is a process. Be patient and work together, and we'll get there. During our biological transformation process, we have been revisiting our unified district vision and reflecting on what the UDV 2.0, what does it mean? What does it look like? So we've engaged, through our Reimagine Minnesota, we've engaged over 3,000 people in our community, asking for your feedback, talking to students, talking to parents, working with other districts, and saying, what should it look like? Because for us, We're committed to our UDV, developed in 2014, right after the implementation of the world's best workforce. In our district, we came together. You came together and said, this is what we believe. Our set of values are placed out publicly for everyone to see. And we made a commitment to come back every 3 years and revisit it. That's what we're doing. So we're going to say it is our source of strength and our GPS, which we use to guide us. But we have to be honest with ourselves. We have to be honest and say, this is our goal, and how much are we willing to invest to reach our goals? It does us no good to have high goals and don't go down and advocate to the state or advocate to the federal government in terms of the lack of equity, in terms of how schools are funded. We can't get there just on our local. We have to think about what's our state responsibility, what's our federal responsibility. If we're going to have this unified system where we say access for all, if we go back to Mr. Lincoln's words, that's what he was talking about when he said, hey, perfect union. Well, all are treated equally. Right now, we're not being treated as equal as our counterparts in other cities where we're having to pay more in taxes in order to do the same thing in terms of just trying to educate our children. Through the Reimagine Minnesota initiative, other districts are joining us in this transformational work. 40 other superintendents have come together, and we're laying out a way that we can disrupt what is currently going on in our state. We're number 2 in the nation right now for academic disparities and opportunities. You don't want to be number 1 or number 2 in that particular category, because here we are, and just look at it. We just got recognized for being one of the most fiscally responsible states in the nation. We have some of the highest academic performance in the nation and in the world, but yet we have the greatest disparities. Someone tell me how that's helping us form a perfect union. How that's saying we're truly where everyone is equal. Everyone is having access to this system. I'm troubled by that, and I have to tell you, I'm troubled by that because I know we can do better. The goal of Reimagine Minnesota initiative, as I said, was to disrupt what's currently happening, so there will be no predictability based upon someone's zip code, their race, their socioeconomic status, their gender, that we will be able to predict their educational outcomes. Today, if you're an African-American male, you're a Latino male, if you're a white male with an IEP, I don't even have to send you through 12 years of schooling. I can predict where you're going to wind up. That's what that's saying. The Department of Human Rights have cited 43 districts, 35 public, 8 charters. We're one of them, and saying we have predictabilities. We don't even have the highest level of predictabilities, but that doesn't matter. We were still cited. So we have developed a partnership with the Department of Human Rights to address this, and we will address it. One component of this transformational work is creating a positive culture and climate in our schools. We've heard you, the narrative. We want to be there. Some of our schools, we're working. We're working to address it. As such, we have partnered with Dr. Khalifa. He is Muhammad Khalifa of the University of Minnesota, one of the leading researchers out there and working with this. Dr. Khalifa is going to help us re-engineer our academic and socio-emotional climate in our district. We have one of University of Minnesota leading scholars, one of the nation's leading scholars partnering with us. That just happened a month ago that he agreed to be our principal scholar in that area. Additionally, we are leveraging our partnership with the Minnesota Department of Human Rights, as I just mentioned, And they're leveraging their resources and partnerships to support us in this work that we're trying to do here to ensure that all students have the greatest access. In addition, we have been working with Dr. Cash to provide proper professional development for differentiation, as well as providing more robust services for our gifted students in our district. We have some students need something a little different. Then we have all students that need a little something different to reach their individual learning styles and needs. In our district, it's important that everyone knows we're about every student from the IEP to the GT. Every student matters in our district. Believe it or not, that's a big statement. Every student matters in this district. Don't forget that, please. Finally, I've heard the voices of students, staff, parents, and the community regarding mental health issues. This is huge on a national level. As a district, we realize that this is one barrier that's beginning to push on us in terms of becoming a destination district. Just left the superintendent's conference, and this is one of the #1 topics. Mental health issues are growing, and it cuts across every identifiable group. And I say to you, to all of you, to join us. We hear you, and we're committed to working together to get this done. I'm going to leverage, and I've been for the last 24 years involved in this area of mental health. And I'm going to leverage every local, state, and national partner that I know to come to Robbinsdale to assist us in this work. With our staff, committed staff, I'm telling you, we're going to make a difference in that area. And we're going to lead the way, not follow. We will lead the way in addressing mental health. We are also committed, you often hear college, and we're very committed to college, our students moving on. But we're also very committed to careers. We are going to focus on careers in our community. The skill sets needed for college and careers, by all estimates, are very similar. When I say welders are important and should be valued as much as medical doctors, I have a kid that graduated 7 years ago. At age 19, was making $136,000 offshore welder. It's not the money that defined him. He was happy. And this kid, by the way, had a 32 on the ACT and said, that's not what I want to do, Dr. Jenkins. I want to do this. Okay? Plumbers are important. Okay, I should have heard more, because if your plumbing go out, okay, I think I missed that one. I'm going to say it again. Plumbers are important. And should be valued as much as bankers. They're important. We can't say that a suit or the degree define us as people. A suit can't make you a good Republican, a good Democrat, a good independent. Your clothing doesn't make you. Your heart does. And we need to get more good people. In short, we want to kind of give all of our children the ability to become the entrepreneurs if they want to be their own boss. What's wrong with that? And we want to prepare them in our schools to be able to do that. During our biological transformation, we have continued to utilize the precepts from Jim Collins' book, Good to Great, 20-some-year-old books, but the principles stand today, rock solid. As such, we have come to view customer service as our greatest challenge and opportunity as we pursue our goals. Customer service, retain families. Customer service, make children feel as if though this environment is for them. Customer service makes staff feel like, yes, my district and my community cares about me. customer service is what you're going to hear out of Robbinsdale area schools. We are serious about that goal. In Good to Great, Collins uses the concept of a hedgehog concept, right? Talks about the fox and the hedgehog, right? Well, the fox, if any of you ever tried to go out trapping foxes, they can do many things. They're very fast, too. They're clever. They can do many things, but nothing exceptionally well. That's why they get caught every time. But the hedgehog, if you ever try to go trap a hedgehog, looks are deceiving. Because once the hedgehog balls up, it's the best in the world at having a defense mechanism. And so the hedgehog, according to Collins, what can you become the best in the world at? Well, he encourages all organizations to find that hedgehog. In Robbinsdale area schools, our hedgehog is being a high-performing, highly diverse district. We're not trying to be another district. We're just saying we're going to be the best at what we do, and we're going to be able to compete locally, statewide, nationally, and internationally at being a high-performing, highly diverse district. That's our hedgehog. Now you know. Therefore, we will continue monitoring our systems to ensure we are moving forward, fostering academic excellence for all. While visiting schools throughout the district, I have observed many of our classrooms and visited with several professional learning communities while the staff were preparing. The amount of alignment and intentionality in many of our grade level teams playing suggests we are starting the movement towards sustained excellence for all. You can see it, you can hear it. I can go from a fourth grade classroom here to a fourth grade classroom over there. And when we adopted the district priorities of standards-based instruction, for those who are confused, that is not our target. That is our minimum. That every child should be exposed to a high-quality learning environment every day. But when you can see that with our springboard and that's our English classes in our middle schools, when I can walk into a sixth grade class, a seventh grade class, and hear the children talking about citations, talking about the same things they're talking about at Armstrong High School when I go into Dr. Beaton's class, I'm like, wow, we are getting the alignment. And if you haven't heard yet, at Armstrong High School, Dr. Beaton, hey, the freshman seminar, you go in those classes, truly amazing. I'll get on some of that a little bit later. Truly amazing. So, in Good to Great, Collins used the metaphor of the flywheel, which is designed to store rotational energy with each turn. Flywheels resist at first, but once they get going, their momentum builds. The momentum builds. Right now, we have momentum building in Robbinsdale. And we have to take it step by step, turn by turn, together to know that it's not a quick race, but this is a journey we're on. And we're headed to that journey of excellence. Let's stay together. This institutional momentum can pave the way for so many things to happen positively, not just in our district, but in our community. Last year, I compared our biological transformational process to moving from being caterpillars to butterflies, as I mentioned earlier. I remain convinced our district can move from good to great by staying focused on delivering excellent customer service. If we continue to be intentional, we can define the difference between excellence and non-excellence daily. And it will be in the words of our children when they go home and the parents say, "What did you learn today?" "I learned a lot today." And they will become inspired. This transformational process, in my mind, We take the gaps that we know and the gaps that we know should not be, and we just totally decimate them right in Robbinsdale area school. And we become the destination district that individuals come to see from around the world. And already we have people coming here from outside of the country to see some of the fine things happening at our School of Engineering and Arts. But we don't want that to be a practice in one school. We want it to be a practice throughout our district. You should not have to choose a school based on chance. You should be able to choose any school you want to in your neighborhood, and that's what we're working toward in Robbinsdale Area School. As I get ready to come to a close here, I want to mention some of the great things happening, because we know in order to become a destination district, we must continue to acknowledge the great things happening. First of all, I want to acknowledge that history was being made this week as the Coopers girls made it to the state for the first time. You may not know that they're ranked #1 right now in their division, and they're going to be playing for the championship on Saturday at 6 o'clock. You may know that Armstrong High School is one of the first 2 advanced placement capstone designated high schools in the state. Capstone equips students with the independent research, collaborative teamwork, and communication skills, which are increasingly valued by colleges and business partners. You may not know about the work over the last 4 years to significantly expand access to advanced placement courses while increasing their AP exams taken. You may not know the boys and girls Nordic ski teams at Armstrong both won the Northwest Suburban Conference meet this year. I'm not telling you what to do, but I am going to highlight something, and I appreciate you clapping too for the Nordic ski team. But to increase the number of students who are taking advanced placement courses, as you're increasing the children with more likelihood that they would not be an AP, to increase that number from an educational standpoint, we have the data to prove that is statistically significant. For that, Mr. Dahl and your staff, I want to say thank you publicly. You may know Cooper High School has an excellent international baccalaureate program and has been ranked among the top 500 high schools in the country for helping students beat the odds. Similar demographics, Cooper, year in, year out, annihilating the competition. You may not know Cooper High School senior David Natchez was the first student in state history to be all-state to the debate for 3 consecutive years. Also, the Cooper girls, as I said, didn't only just make it to state, they're in the championship. So we give them a big hand. The debate team is no easy feat, and David Natchez to be the first in history to do that, I just tell you publicly, I'm very proud of that young man. You may know our School of Engineering and Arts is the #2 ranked STEAM elementary school in the state. You may know that, right? You may not know that they were just nominated for the National Blue Ribbon Award. You may know about the fantastic theatrical productions put on by Fair School Crystal and Northport Elementary School. You may not know students from Fair and Northport kicked off the Super Bowl at the Super Bowl Super Kids event on January the 18th, the first event for the Super Bowl. You may not know our early childhood program, even though we've been in business for 44 years, that we have secured $1.9 million for our early childhood programs in our district. You may not know that, but that's excellent. We're now, because we received the dollars, are able to serve 360 more students. When we think of other successes like our improved graduation rate, our fantastic volunteers and partnership program, and each year's majestic fall festival performance at Orchestra Hall, we often brush aside compliments by saying, after all, it's just the Robbinsdale way. But in the words of the conductor for our spring festival, who came here from Anoka Hennepin, we were clapping and people said, yes, this is what we do. She stopped me in my track and she said, hey, you guys, please don't take this for granted. It's not happening everywhere at this level to have that many 4th and 5th graders in a gym, that many senior students in a gym performing at that high level. So thank you for that piece. Every day we're working to get better in Robbinsdale. We know that it's going to happen. We are going to be that destination district that's high performing, highly diverse. In Robbinsdale, when challenges come, we don't run away from them. We run to them. We're about solving and leading the way. So to that end, I want to say thank you for coming out to this year's 2018 State of the District. Thank you. At this time, we want to continue with one exercise that we've been doing in our district that we started last year by the Board of Education, recognizing students for outstanding achievements. Students who have demonstrated through their academic career here that they have gone from being a caterpillar to a butterfly. We're going to continue this tradition today. And when we do this, we think like the visionaries like E.J. Cooper, what they intended to happen. And I think if he was here today, he would be so proud of these 3 students. The first student I would like to introduce to you is Draven. Draven, you here? Draven May. Yeah, he's here. Draven, if you could start making your way to this table, and Mr. Joe, if you could come up really quick, and bring the helper too. This is also our helper. She helps out with every event. This is Mr. Joe's daughter. Come on up. Read off the names of it so I can get them, okay. We give out medals to our students. Started this tradition with the board this past year, and we're going to continue it. We've done these outstanding things. For the last 2 years, Draven May has attended the University of Minnesota full-time through PSEO. Although his plans are not finalized, he tentatively plans to continue his education at the U, where he will have 1.5 years left. Okay. I wish that was really the biggest part, but it's not. To finish his 4-year degree in mathematics. And then he plans to continue his education to finish his PhD in mathematics. Draven May. Joining Draven up on the stage this evening is going to be our one and only Miss Helen Radovich. Before I get into all of her accolades, let me say that Helen has been one of the students to participate quarterly in our courageous, real serious, confronting conversations that we have quarterly. She started with the group after the situation with Mr. Castile, after the Black Lives Matter, after the police shootings. We brought together individuals in our community along with our students and having some serious discussions. And this young lady was very impactful in those meetings, and this is a place where our students amplify their voices, and the adults are just there to listen. Chief Goldstein said, wow. Chief Goldstein, who was an Armstrong graduate, Plymouth police chief, said this was the most impactful meeting I've been in on all of these tough issues. So Helen, I want to say thank you for your words. Helen is one of our all-state debate students. This year at the state tournament, she and her partner won 9th place in public forum debate. She is also a national alternate in both congressional debate and a new style of individual debate called Big Questions. Helen is very excited about representing our district at nationals this year. Helen? The next young man, I think, is absent this evening. I'm going to read off his information. He's also helped facilitate the tough conversations we've been having with the peers. We bring Armstrong, Cooper, Highview, just our students together and have these conversations. He's actually facilitated the last one, and he's quite amazing. I wish he was here tonight. He introduced me last year. It's quite amazing. Cooper High School senior David Natchez is an all-state debate student who represented Cooper in Lincoln Douglas debate. Natchez earned the Section 6AA runner-up honors. This was the fourth year in a row Natchez has qualified to the MSHSL state tournament and only the second student to ever accomplish this feat from Robbinsdale. Natchez returned to the MSHSL state tournament where he became the first three-time all-state debater in state history, not Robbinsdale, in state history. Like Helen, David will go to nationals this summer and represent Robbinsdale area schools. And I think it's so beautiful when you see our students like last year. You had students from both Cooper and Armstrong standing on the stage. There was one thing in common of all of the students last year. They all started out in the district in early childhood together. And so, yeah, that was really neat to see the parents and the students. So if the parents of the students, are you here? Okay. Could you please come up on the stage, please? Let the record be noted that I'm standing with Helen tonight. We have a grandparent here? Okay, come on here. Who's grandparent? Okay, great. So that's Draven, grandfather there. And so, it's okay. Yeah, look at him. He's quite the guy, isn't he? He's taking over. All right, so at this time, we're going to have a picture from Dr. McGregory of our recipients right here, and I would ask the board members to come up next, but I would like to say to everyone else, thank you. Okay, thank you for coming out.
Rejoice in peace, and the sound of joy will sound. river.